Okay, so 3, 2, one more time. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we are.
Amazing.
Oh, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Enjoying my cup of coffee right now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, not too bad, I guess, yeah. Well, there's a lot of things I want to discuss with you today, and I'm extremely curious to find out about all the music that you've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really excited for you to be here. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So, I'm interested in finding out how and when you felt like music is something that you want to do.
Wow.
Small trip down the memory lane.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Down memory lane. So when I was probably 12, it's like when you're a kid in school, there's different waves of what's popular. Like sometimes it's Pokemon, sometimes it's like, I don't know, football. And then at some point it was having a band in my class, and then everybody had a band. That was all good. But then a week later, no one gave a shit.
No.
Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Cool. I've had this problem before. And then I just kept on going, you know. I borrowed my cousin's guitar. Then a half a year later, it was my birthday, and I got like a super cheap guitar, and I just kept on going. And then that was just because I liked doing it, I guess. And then the songwriting came a little bit later. So it was a pretty early age. I mean, just in my early teens, and I was like, yeah,
this is what you're going to be doing.
I'm going to finish high school. I'm going to move to London at 15.
Because I think usually people either pick up a piano or guitar, isn't it? Did you know that you want to do you want to play guitar, or is it just something that happened to be in your house and you just played it over there?
No, there was in the place, the rehearsal room that the band that I was in then went to, and it was like 2 guitars, and me and my best friend, we didn't want to play bass. Sorry, bass players, but like, it's not the cool instrument, in my opinion. That I think is cool now. Don't worry. So we both played. We had like 2 guitarists, a drummer, and a percussionist. So that's the reason why it was the guitar, because and neither of us wanted to back down.
Did you go to a musical school? I don't know. Is that something you guys have in Denmark? Yeah,
we do. It's pretty expensive, and there's a huge waiting list.
Oh, is it?
So as soon as my parents realized that this was something that I wanted to do, they signed me up for it. But then they went and got a guy who was being taught at the school, a bit older than me, and then he came to my place and taught me, because I was waiting for like a year before I could get out of that school.
Really?
So so he came and taught me at my place, and then after that I started, and then I went like 2 guitar lessons a week, piano, singing.
Oh, wow.
Musical, everything,
Or is that what you do then at the school? Everything is included, basically?
No. So this was just one thing, but then I just signed up for loads of other stuff, because then there was like free lessons at other places and stuff, and I just took everything in I could.
Because listening to your songs, like the voice is just so mesmerizingly amazing. I gave it to listen to a couple of my friends, and they were like, does he sing blues as well? And I was like, well, I can ask him. But when you were young, did you like sing, at schools you have those festivals, or like even Christmas festivals where you just put the whole classroom together and you have to sing? Did you then feel like you could sing maybe a little bit better than somebody else, or at least some sort of signs of you having that musical, I think, hearing? Is that what it's called?
I think I realized pretty quickly that I was singing like cleanly. I could, that it wasn't bad, but not necessarily good. And because I was always like a shy kid, it was very bipolar, because I was the class clown, but I was also the shy kid. So so I would never, even to this day, I never play a song that I'm writing before it's completely finished. I'd never play it to anyone.
Right.
Not even like my closest friends and family. So I think, and then when I realized that I could sing, I think I was just like screaming a lot at school, like just walking down the hallway, just singing out loud, like Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus or some other song, like just going crazy. And then once I realized I actually knew how to sing, I was like focusing more on it. And that's when I started taking the singing lessons to, work on that.
How long was that for before you moved to here?
I stopped maybe a year before I moved here.
Okay.
This is only when you're a certain age. And then we actually stopped really focusing on becoming a better singer. Mm-hmm. Even with the guitar lessons, I stopped focusing on becoming a better guitarist, but more focusing on working on my songs. Mm-hmm. Because then I started writing songs for real. Excuse me.
No, it's fine. And when did that start?
So I actually wrote a couple of really shitty songs when I was doing the band thing with the classmates. I wrote some terrible songs, and I hope they're gone forever. But then I don't know, kept on writing.
Yeah, that's great.
And then, the school had some opportunities to go play at different smaller venues in the town I lived in. And then I'd play 2-3 songs that I'd written. And people were pretty excited about it. So I think that's what kept me going as well.
Did you always write in English?
Yeah.
Always?
I think I've written like one song in Danish.
Why so?
Because I've always wanted, even like from like a young age, like at 15 years old, I was ready to move to London from Denmark, right? Mm-hmm. My parents were like, hold up, just do 3 more years of school, then you can go. Mm-hmm. But I was always pretty certain that I wanted an international breakthrough. And it sounds very like, when I grow up, I want to be a rock star,
It does.
But that's how it was. And I'm not, sorry about that. That's just how it is. So then if you want to go international, you need to write international songs.
Right, okay.
And that's why it's English.
And it was always London, not any other place at all in your head.
At first I wanted to move to LA.
Of course.
But then, right?
Who wouldn't?
But then that's pretty far away, and it's the green card thing and all that
Slider,
stuff.
Yeah.
So, and my mom's pretty happy that I'm only like a couple of hours away.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But then who were your idols when you were growing up, and how, obviously I can imagine that obviously changes with the time and you grow older. But I feel like when I'm listening to tunes, I feel a little bit of Sting, like Sting over there. Ed Sheeran, I believe, might have had quite a big of impact on you.
Bit, yeah.
The tunes that are not quite released yet, but I felt like they're a little bit more upbeat. And there's some clear, I think, Bruno Mars perhaps maybe vibe going on. So from your perspective, or who were your, who are you trying, not even portray, but more of who do you idolize when you do your music?
I think you hit it pretty spot on. Like when I was younger, I both seen Ed Sheeran and Bruno Mars live. So there's some of my my big idols. I think I've moved a little bit past that because I've also come to a point where it's like I'm not trying to sound cocky, but they're like colleagues now. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, it was like these big artists and stuff, and I've kind of moved past that. So it's just like they make good music, which is where I think I should be, because I can't. If I'm ever gonna meet them and I go like, "Oh my god," then that's gonna be weird. So, but Bruno Mars definitely, Ed Sheeran. I've just listened to a lot of different things. Like
I think gym class heroes. I felt like I felt they were there as well.
I like that. Yeah, I listened to a lot of Eminem as well. So I've got that. I rap in some of my songs, and I have that kind of, edgy rap, but also singing. Yeah, I guess a bit like Ed Sheeran as well.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Then I also like Metallica a lot, and I'm not really sure if that fits
anywhere.
Yeah.
But when it comes to writing your lyrics, how does it happen? Like, does it come from nowhere, or do you go to your quiet place and you tell to everyone, shut the doors, don't touch me, I'm here writing my lyrics?
I guess it comes from, I'm a very personal person. Like I'm very inside myself. Mm-hmm. So if I'm feeling upset or sad or something, I won't go and speak to other people about it. I'll just deal with it myself. Right. And I know that that's not necessarily, I'm not telling people to do that because it's not healthy, I guess. But for me, it's pretty good because I write a song about it and then I get this feeling that's inside of me out.
Right. So it's almost like a healing process, isn't it, for yourself?
So
whatever bothers you at that particular point then almost is healed after you got it out.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
But that's also kind of bad, because then if I'm only happy, then I can't write sad songs. And sometimes you need a sad song. And the other way around, right?
Right.
If I'm just miserable, it's just going to be a whole album of just, crying songs. But that's like, I go to my room, I can't have anyone around me.
You can't?
Yeah, no, I just want it to be myself. So I can't have anyone listening to it. Like I said before, like unfinished songs, I'll never play them to anyone. So even like I live in a house with 2 other people, but I like even make sure they're not home.
Right.
Before I even or else I'll do it really quietly.
But how does the process usually look like? Do you go to the coffee shops at all? Or is it just it needs to be really quiet?
And
familiar space,
I just
I guess.
have my guitar with me.
Oh.
So I can do it anywhere, really. And I'll just doodle along and then come up with a cool riff, or I'll come up with a cool sentence in my head or a melody, so there's not a specific method that I use. It's just whatever comes, and I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Whichever comes
and then
first.
I write it down somewhere, and
And you have a lot of those random sentences dropped around your copybook that you have to come back to and be okay, maybe this is worth writing about, or maybe this could be nice.
I usually once a month just collect all the small pieces of paper I have around the house and just put them together, and I walk through them and be like, okay, can I use this? What is this? Because or else it gets too much, it's just way too many.
And how long would it usually take you from kind of starting the process to finish it, the song?
Man, that changes a lot. Sometimes I'll finish a song in a day, and sometimes even in an hour. Sometimes the song just writes itself. You go with the chords, have the melody, and it just comes like that. And then sometimes it'll take half a year. I have a lot of songs that I've written maybe a verse and a chorus, and then just they've gone away. Sometimes because I know they're not gonna be released because it's not my favorite songs that I've written. But then also sometimes just because I can't come up with anything. And then it's better to just leave it by itself and then come back to it.
Right.
To make sure that it's proper. Yeah. Right. Songs are weird, man. They happen,
Are you never scared that it might just not happen from, let's say, tomorrow morning? It's just, no, they will always come.
It's gonna happen.
It's happening.
Yeah. I know I'm not the best guitarist in the world. And I know I'm not the best singer in the world. But that's not the main thing. Talent can only get you so far, and talent is really what you make it, and then the rest is just about working hard.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you are a very humble but also very hardworking person. I've seen you playing everywhere you possibly can and just putting yourself out there and just putting your talent out there for people to see. That is very fearless of you, because I would be petrified. But it was also you keep just going, you don't give up. You just are constantly steamrolling to the next point, to the next point, to the next point. So, and I really admire that about you, because I think performing is very fun when you're young as a kid. But once you reach a certain age, it's scary. So what is the most scariest process of it all for yourself?
The scariest process?
If there is any.
Yeah. It's more the performing thing is just, I feel I always have someone touching my shoulder, right behind me. So I know that if I don't work the hardest, there's someone right behind me working harder. And then they'll take my place. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's the mentality you need to have, that if you're not going all in, then there's someone willing to do it. So you need to really push yourself. But the performing thing is, that's also from there, I needed to go out and just play, and I really enjoy playing. I think it's fun. Yeah. The worst thing I'd say, I wouldn't say it's scary, but it's just, that's when I start thinking what am I doing, man?
Oh, I mean, you can't really let those thoughts get into you. It's
when you start when you're sitting, because I'm playing a lot of pubs as well, not as much more, but I used to. And when you're just standing in the corner of a pub and there's 3 old blokes at the bar and they'd rather actually have you on there.
Yeah.
And that's...
But it's also not the vibe, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's just how it is sometimes, But
what's the best feeling out of the performing?
Best feeling is when I have people clapping along, singing along.
The singers.
So I like to like involve the audience. So then when I have everybody go in, and everybody's actually when they want to hear it and be there, that's amazing. I really
guess
love that.
It probably doesn't happen every single time, but when it happens,
yeah.
it just overpowers everything, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, and it's really, the last gig I played, I had 3 girls come up to me and they said that they actually stayed at the venue just because they liked us and then we were great. So they stayed there for the rest of the night just because they came in while we were playing,
right?
And they stayed there just because of that. That was pretty cool.
Like the vibe kept going.
Yeah, they were like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Yeah, that was amazing. So yeah, just to be able to actually touch someone, it's pretty cool.
I think that is. What about the lyrics when people are singing the lyrics back?
Oh, that's
that's like a next level
right
of
in the heart, man. Like, that's when you know that it's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Because even having like 1 person or 2 people singing just a few words, even if they're not even singing the right lyrics, I don't care. Just if they make that commitment, just imagining what it could be, you know?
No, absolutely. I can't imagine what it would be one day you will be standing in front of the thousands of people singing your songs.
We'll do this interview backstage as well, yeah?
Maybe or something like this. I guess that feeling will be just something completely out of this world.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you with photography. Whenever I put anything out there and I'm not getting bombarded by the messages of people saying, oh my God, it's amazing. But when it is, a couple of people coming to and saying, this is amazing, I really liked it. I appreciate you taking the time of your day to write this message to me, and be actually just spending the time with a picture with like relating to this and then sending that message. It's just the best. It really is the best. We all have those days when it's very difficult to keep going, and I think for creatives especially, there is a lot of self-doubt in everything that we do,
especially for you, because like when you put up a picture on Instagram or on Facebook, there's like loads, and anyone can just take a picture. It's not the same quality, but there's so many different things to compete with, you know?
Yeah.
It must be hard for you.
I also don't try to think about it.
Yeah. No, you shouldn't think about anything else. Just keep going.
I think you just keep going. And I think once you get yourself busy, you just don't let those thoughts get into your head.
Yeah.
Because instead of you sitting there and contemplating your life choices, if I may, you just go and you're just like, okay, I just have a shoot. I need to go and get ready for that. And then after that, I have this and that. It's just you keep yourself going and you don't let your brain to get to those places. I do have an overactive brain as well. Sometimes it goes and spiralizes to the places that I'm just like, wow, just shut down.
Yeah.
Just shut down and let me go to bed. But sometimes you get the best things out of it and you just have to deal with those things, isn't it? I was wondering about when you write your lyrics and then finally the song is ready and you put it out there. Isn't it a little bit too naked and vulnerable process to post something that you felt on a piece of paper and sing it out to people? How does that feel to you?
It is. I mean, it's not that much, because the most vulnerable is probably when I've just written it and I've just have me and my guitar. But then when I release it, I go in the studio, I talk to the producer, we go like, oh, how should we do this and that? So you kind of chop it up and put it back together.
Right.
And then you release it. So it's
never as naked as the first draft.
Yeah, and then you've just played it like a million times in the studio, and like, so you've really gone through it, and then you release it. And then I'm more like relieved than happy that people get to hear it, because I can play it at gigs and everything, but when it's out there online, then everybody can access it. And that's really, I'm proud of that,
I think it's like a physical proof, isn't it? You can then go and say, if you go on this link, this is there, it's mine, I've done it.
You have something representing yourself.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly that. A, it's portfolio, but B, it's also like, this is the project that came from my head all the way to that place on the internet for people to be now listening to.
Right.
Right, okay. But what sort of, when you write a song, do you feel like you give all your energy out? Or what sort of like energetic processes do happen in you? Because I have no idea how people even come to that point of writing.
I don't know. It's I think it's also different when you do it regularly, and when that's something that when that's what you do. Like I'm a songwriter. That's what I do. So then I constantly just have like melodies and thoughts and lyrics in my head going around. And that's just, and then, so it's not like, I never sit down and just write a song because I need to write a song. I could do, but then it'd be very superficial, just like a pop-ish kind of, not me, right? So it's just,
it's just there.
Yeah,
but when was
there.
that
it's hard to
time
say.
when, because obviously there was time before you knew you were certain that you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
How was it before that?
It was, I think it just came natural. I wrote a song, I wrote like 2 songs when I just started, like I told you, like shitty songs. And then when it wasn't popular having that band more, I just kept on playing guitar. And I just wrote like things down at home. And then I made like 1 or 2 songs that I thought was really good. And I played them live. And then because they had those gigs, right? And then everybody was like, oh, this is really cool. And that's when I knew that I could actually do that. So I was really shy in the beginning, but then I think it was my guitar teacher, Peter, who forced me to actually play it. And then that's when I realized that this was actually great. So yeah, he kind of got me out of the comfort zone.
Who is your like favorite critic? Who is the voice when you hear they say yay or nay, you kind of go like, yeah, I really respect that?
I think my dad.
Yeah?
Yeah. I usually, because I know that there's no bullshit.
Right.
If he doesn't like anything, I go, man, listen to this. What do you think? Well, you know, these drums are weird, man. Or like, he'll just tell me straight away. So I know that I can count on him.
Does he know music? Or he just listens to enough?
He listens to a lot, yeah.
Right.
And then, once I've taken it by him, I'll take it by my mom. She'll go, so yeah. They're not like the parents that are like just nursing you around and everything. They'll tell me if I'm not on the right track.
I would say that over anything. I do not need, you need to have a bunch of cheerleaders to cheerlead you when you're down.
They cheerleaded me in the beginning, right? They kept me going along even when I was bad. But then now they know that if they keep doing that, I'm not going to get anywhere.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It takes a bunch of people to get to that point, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then that brings me to the point where you said when you get your guitar out, it's almost like you have to perform, and it gets you that, maybe like takes away the shyness and gets the performing Ace Rosewall to the stage. Do you get into the sort of like Nirvana stage where you feel together with guitar and the shyness goes away and something else comes out? Am I kind of right to think this is what happens?
When I'm playing live, it's like sometimes you kind of zone out. Like I don't even think about what I'm playing. It's just there, it just lays in my hand. And it's kind of a trippy feeling because, I can like zone out. It's weird, man. But I've heard other people like John Mayer's tried it as well, where he just, I'm not saying I'm him, but just zoning out maybe for 5 or 10 seconds and then going back and be like, whoa. But then you just kept on going, and it's like, I think that's when you really enjoy it.
Yeah.
That you just feel comfortable and then you just don't even think about it,
Does it happen more the more you perform?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously you're more comfortable.
The longer the sets. Because here in London, sometimes it's like you get 20 minutes or you get like 3 songs so then you barely get to go on stage before you need to go down. Yeah.
You almost like warm up and they say, I'm sorry, next one now.
Exactly, yeah. So you need to really think about what you're playing. So when you have the longer sets, it's really cool and you get to really enjoy it.
But is it because you're enjoying it or you feel the vibe of the crowd as well? Is there a lot of external factors in this point, or is it mostly how you are at that particular moment inside feeling?
Of course there's the external factors because when you have the longer set, then people they get to know who you are more and what kind of music you do. So it's easier to convince them to listen. Whereas if you just go up for 3 songs and there's just been 3 other people for 3 songs, you go up and they're like, oh, this is just like a long-haired dude with a guitar. Like, we've seen this before, So you get to properly introduce them when it's like a long set. Right, so I really enjoy that.
Get a little bit more intimate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's really nice.
Oh, I love it. Do you have any? Well, you have another gig happening here soon, aren't you? 20th.
Playing on the Thames, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some guys from Essex called Matchstick, and they just arrange different gigs. I went there to play at the university as well a while back, and then they've just gone to New Orleans. They've picked up a guy there called Joshua Benitez. They're taking him here and like doing a small tour around. It's pretty cool. I'm really excited for it. There's some good guys, and I think they're very passionate about what they're doing. Like you are, like I am. So it's nice to spend time around people like that, because then you know that it's gonna be something, you know.
Do you happen to know a lot of creatives around you?
I do, yeah. I mean,
like in terms of friendliness, not friendliness. Okay, maybe I'm not just articulating it rightly. Personally, I think it's very important to surround yourself with the people who are maybe not from the same industry, but they're kind of going the same creative processes as you are. And me and Jan, wishing away we had more such people around us here in London. We do have them, but they somehow all decided to move all far away from us. And I was just like, damn, people, we just got to that point where we're like, and you're like, shh, off you go. Yeah. So I feel sometimes that you can have a chat with your friends, but your friends are just friends. They're not doing what you're doing. So sometimes they really are struggling to relate or even understand what you're talking about. And you sometimes even, I sometimes feel that I cannot express myself fully, because they will be like, yeah, I understand. And then off we go, next topic and next topic. So question then probably is, do you have people like that here around in London?
I got you guys. Yeah, I mean, I think in London especially, it's easier to find people like that, because there is so many creatives, and there's so many people who've moved here just for that. And then I've made sure to get in touch with a lot of musicians. Like I've gone to open mics, I've done the showcases where you talk to people, because I think no matter how persistent you are and no matter what talent you have, it's also about networking in this day and age. You know, it's also about knowing the right people at the right time.
Of course.
Doing the right stuff.
Lovely.
And that's like, you guys must know that too, right? Like getting...
Oh, networking, I think it's nothing gets my goosebumps bigger than a word of networking. Hate that with my passion.
I hate it too, man. It's not what you want to do. You want to you want to shoot video and do photos, or you want to play music. You don't want to, not because you don't like people, but like you don't want to spend time mingling for work.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. Oh, I think that for me is also show me what you do instead of tell me what you do. Because a lot of people are mastering the word of, the mastering of how they're talking to people, and you can smoosh me to the point where I'm going to be like, oh my God, you are probably the best of the best. And then if your work doesn't speak for that, then that's when I kind of go a bit, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. So for me, if we are put on a project and let's say one of the producers putting people together, and we happen to come across some photographers, and I just look at how they are working and the flow and how they are approaching the things and the tasks. And if that's something that matches mine, or I understand that he's hardworking, he's not here for some sort of, 2-second fame. He's here to actually work and work hard and get to the next level. And he's curious and he wants to be educated, or she wants to be educated. I think that is very important to me. And I think that's when networking can go a little bit like this, because on the events, everyone is having a good time and having a glass of bubbly. And it's very difficult to actually understand what's underneath all of this. Whereas if you're on a field and you're battling back to back, that's when you kind of feel, okay, are we like, for me, that works better.
I get that 100%.
Yeah. But how you feel about London? Do you feel like it was a good call?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've moved so much, like music wise, even like I haven't gotten a lot from, no, that's not right to say. I mean, performing, I think it's kind of sad, because today you are probably better off working on your Instagram account or your YouTube account rather than going out and performing, because that's where people are with their heads down in their phones. So if I spent all the time I did rehearsing and like playing live on that, maybe it would have been further. But I just think it's very important to still keep that aspect, because I think that's what music is, And I've seen so many people and they're just playing, they're sitting on a chair in their bedroom playing guitar, and that's when they get the followers. And I think it's then when you see them live, you're just like, what is this? You know? So I think that's moved me a lot. Like, I was not that performer when I was back home, because you kind of forced, because these three blokes in the bar, and you're just standing in the corner of the bar. If you want them to listen, you really got to do something special to get their attention, right? So that's what I've learned, to do that extra thing to get people to like you and to get people to recognize you as a musician in the bar, you know? Because that's something hard. So I really want to say that's probably the main thing I've taken away from London, but also just the people, like meeting you guys. Met so many different people, and you can just, it sounds kind of sad, but everybody's desperate, you know, to do something.
Well, it is an outcast city, isn't it? We all came here because we couldn't do what we wanted to do, or we're not.
And then people help each other.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly that. In Estonia, it's definitely more conservative. I kind of feel maybe that can be a case in Denmark as well, whereas people here are a little bit more open, and they have to, especially in London.
It's a very close group of creatives, in Denmark at least. Like, it's very...
And I also feel like a public as well. Public might not be so receptive,
right? Yeah,
towards anything new.
You're a photographer, but what do you do?
It's more like, well, have you been exhibited somewhere here or here or here? No, okay, well, you're not a photographer then. It's just something, one of those. But at the same time, Tallinn, for example, is very small. So I have mates who just been interviewed already for the magazines because they just happen to be so niche Instagram, and it doesn't take a lot to get to that point, because obviously it's just the editorial team is smaller, the readership is smaller, so to get on their radar it's easier than it is in London, for sure. And sometimes I was a bit like, oh god, maybe I should just go back to Tallinn, and perhaps I wouldn't say it would be easy, but don't get me wrong, no, because obviously, as you said, it's the whole creative hub is so much tighter. To get through that one level would be just that difficult.
The opportunities are different, right?
Say it again?
The opportunities are different.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's not an international crowd anymore, is it? It's just a very local crowd over there.
Yes, the one when you went to New York and shot for Marriott, that was Marriott, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't probably have gotten that in Estonia.
I don't think so.
No, right?
No.
So that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. But we also had an amazing curator, shout out to Libby, in Toronto. Just one of the things we were like, hey, let's just get all our stuff and move to Toronto. That'll be amazing. But that's just something that we have in our head.
Yeah.
But did you know that the style you're playing of music, was that something, obviously I can imagine, curated in a really long time to get to that point? And I can imagine it still probably is ongoing process, isn't it? But is that a little bit more clearer in your head? And how did it get to that point of music that you're playing right now?
It is. I mean, I know now when I write a song, I know what songs are for me and what songs are for other people or commercials or whatever, right? So I feel I know what style I am. And then I think it comes from, because I was always super passionate about this. So I didn't really have time to play in bands with people that weren't as passionate as me. So I would just play alone. So I would really just play a lot by myself, just me and a guitar. And I think that's what formed me mostly, was that I didn't have time to wait for everyone else. And there's always that pressure of time, right? Because, I mean, you can't put a limit on this dream that we have, all of us creatives. It takes the time it takes, you know? But then again, you're still thinking like, if I'm 50 years old and I'm still just playing guitar around pubs, is that what I want to be doing? You know? So I have that time pressure of I need to make things happen, and you need to always push yourself. And I mean, it's worked pretty well so far.
Yeah.
Can I play you something from is that going to work?
I don't know.
From the new EP?
I think it will. Are you okay to share that with us?
Yes, because I've just gotten the...
green lights from the producer.
Yeah, from the label. They're saying that we're going to release it on the 6th of September.
Right,
First single is called I Don't Think They Know. I'm just going to play like 10 seconds of it.
Okay.
Just because I'm super excited about it. But you've heard it before.
I'm curious to see which one is it.
Yeah, I hope you like it.
There's quite a few of them, and I was like, oh my God, I love them all.
All right.
Sometimes when I wake up, pinch myself in the arm and you put on your makeup. They will tell you you're just fine, but you never listen. Just Look at me with that smile, you're all I've been missing. When I look into your eyes, I know you're all I know.
Hello.
I was blind, but now I see.
Is it one of them you like? Nice.
Yes, I love that one.
So it's a very pop tune, but it's very like easy to listen to.
It is.
So I think that's why we're gonna release that one first.
Is it up to decide?
Partly. We'll have a conversation about it then. But they pretty straight away said that they wanted this one. And I was like, yeah, I get that. That's a good idea. All right. That's all you get.
Yay! Is that a DK label?
Yes.
Danish label?
Yeah.
And are they releasing it then? How does the release happen? It's an international release, or is that
yeah, so
local?
the label in Denmark are releasing it in Denmark, and then I'm releasing it worldwide.
Oh.
So if you go to Venezuela, you can still hear it. Don't worry.
And what sort of channels are you going to be like showing it on? Obviously,
Anywhere,
iTunes.
yeah, everywhere. It's going to be in Spotify, Apple Music, what they call Deezer,
Oh God, I don't
YouTube.
know. Well, yeah.
It's going to be anywhere.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really excited for it because I've realized that what happens when something happens like fast, it's when I release new music. Like that's when last year I got played in the radio for the first time. It was a pretty surreal experience.
I can imagine.
Having that listening, that was odd in a good way. So yeah, and then the label found me through that. So I'm really excited to see where this is going to take me because I feel like this EP is going to be really good.
Yeah.
I feel like they've got some.
It's a little bit more mature.
Yeah,
It definitely is.
It's more me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I remember you played me fooling around when I was taking pictures of you last year in Camden.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I was thinking like, okay, if I'm, a little bit younger, like 18, 16, like that's very joyful tune.
Yeah.
It really is. And it is about fooling around, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So it was nice. I really like that. But then again, those tunes, I feel like they matured a little bit with you. And obviously with the age, you're a little bit older now as well. I can definitely relate to them a little bit more, but also they're still catchy.
Yeah.
You still come away with, not maybe knowing the lyrics, but you will be just still singing a song along and just kind of trying to remember the melody and be like, ooh, what's going on?
But now that you've heard the new EP, do you feel like it is a step further though?
Yeah.
Would you feel like that? Yeah, good.
Definitely.
Good
and I
to
think when we were listening to the SoundCloud and all the tunes you have over there,
Oh my God,
but it
Some
could
of them
feel,
are old.
Yeah, but you could feel how it's all just comes together nicely, and the beat is something a little bit more profound. Lyrics are a little bit more profound. Your voice is definitely more controlled. I don't even know if that's even the word.
No, I get it.
It's more. It doesn't go to the different
Yeah, you
different
didn't.
spectrum. I don't even know how
No,
it
I
is.
know
It's just
exactly
it just
what you mean.
flows nicer, and you keep that beat on with the melody. So I definitely could feel that how the progress happened. So well done on that one.
Thank you.
So like that is pretty cool.
I think that's also the pops just needing to, be louder than anyone else. Because all the people talking, like you need to get their attention. So that's what's also formed my voice and made it that raw aspect when it's kind of edgy, like when it's crispy. That makes sense. Yeah. Crispy.
But let's say you write a song, right? And you have a guitar to play, but then you have drummers.
Oh yeah, I have the best drummer in the world.
Right.
Yeah, pretty cool to sort her out. Yeah.
How do you guys play then together? Or how does the whole process of collaboration work?
Yeah. So when I first got together with my bandmates, I just
Did you know them before? Sorry.
No, I just Googled basically Googled how to find bandmates in London because I felt like I wanted to do bigger gigs. And then,
Was it quite a few you had to go through in order to find the perfect one for yourself?
Yeah, and I was pretty lucky actually, just with the style and the people. I think the people are definitely more important because then when you go on tour and stuff, you need to spend a lot of time with them. So then I'd rather have, obviously they need to be good musicians, but I'd rather have people that
You're vibing with?
yeah, exactly. So I just brought my songs and then we just played them. I mean, Fooling Around and Extensions, for example, are already recorded, so they are pretty easy to deal with. It's just like, oh, what are they playing? But also I wanted them to have the freedom to do, you know, if they wanted to change something up, they could do that.
Right, okay.
And then when I was in Copenhagen, Ellie, my drummer, came to Copenhagen as well. And then we recorded everything because she's amazing. And we would never be able to get the same result as we have had without her. And we wrote a song over there as well, which is on it, which is like one of the first times I've written a song with someone.
Wow. I guess that is quite...
Yeah, it's something I want to do more, but it's a very intimate thing, isn't it?
It is extremely intimate, isn't it? Because you're almost letting somebody else into your head.
Yeah.
And this is something that happened with me and my boyfriend at the beginning. We were just really stubborn and we could not really vibe in terms of understanding how does each of us work.
Yeah.
And I think we were trying to find how each of us personally works and then trying to combine that in order to make it a collaborative duo was a task on its own. Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you feel. Yeah.
But then now I think we don't even realize it, but people are just like, how did you just manage to sort this one out within 2 seconds? Whereas sometimes people take days to get to that same
Now you have the understanding
level
of each other. So
literally, yeah. It's not like I can finish his sentences. No.
It's like a puzzle. The pieces just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary sometimes how we think so similarly. And sometimes I feel like, oh, maybe that is also not a good thing. You know, thinking...
I think it's more good than it's bad.
But I do believe when
you
you work together, it just is that much quicker and your communication has to be that much more efficient just so you can spend more time doing the creative job instead of the other way around. Because when I work with clients, that is the most difficult thing for me, to make them understand and get them to the same page, or even me to understand what they want to do and try to visually reproduce that. That's where the struggle is.
It must be hard because they don't understand it. If I'm working with the label or stuff, they know music. Yeah. But when you're working with the client, they are like cheese producers, or they are like, you know, sofa makers.
They're not necessarily the visual people, but it's not even that. It's just, I wouldn't even know 3 years ago if you asked me what sort of color spectrum or color scheme would you like to be, or what sort of color scheme would represent what. Let's say, like, you know, minimalistic would always go for a little bit more natural color scheme, and it will be more whites and those kind of patterns you need to follow in order to get to that level. And I think a lot of people, A, they don't know, B, they don't necessarily even want to get into all of this, but all of them want to get the beautiful results. Yeah. The picture that will just kind of treat you on all the senses that possible. But then you need to understand. But that's when you need to be Japanese, I'm sorry.
No, but I know what you mean. You need to understand what they're saying without them actually having the right words for
absolutely.
it.
But then sometimes what the mood boards in Pinterest are the best. You just create a couple and you just like, which one do you like? You almost play a game, points and choose, and that's where we're going to go from.
We've used that for both our photo shoots. Yeah. And it's like, when I look at them, I'm like, okay. And then when I look at the pictures we've taken afterwards, I'm like, it fits.
Yeah. Yeah, because that makes my life much easier. Yeah. Of course, as a photographer, you can do a lot of different things, but a lot of different things mean a very poor quality across all of different things. But if we can narrow it down to something a little bit more concrete, the level of that is going to be much higher. That's always been the case. So I think, coming back to the drummer lady.
Oh, yeah.
But how does it usually happen? Do you guys go to the studio and you just play guitar and sing and she just starts drumming? Or
yeah, so we usually have like a gig lined up and then we just rehearse for that. We decide the set list and then we just walk through it. But we've been playing together for almost a year now.
Oh, wow. Has it been that long now? Might have been,
Yeah, a year, three quarters of a year, something like that. So
three quarters of the year.
Man, time just flies by.
Yeah.
So then we decided on the set list, but we've played together for so long and we've been playing a lot of gigs because I've just always made sure that there was another gig. And then we've kind of got the songs under our skin. So it's pretty easy to just say, oh, let's do this one, this one, this one. And then we all know how it is, you know? So, man, I'm really grateful to have met her because she's taken it to a different level, you know?
Yeah.
And hopefully with this new release, I'm going to do some more gigs in Denmark and stuff.
So does that mean that then it's not you per se anymore? It's going to be her as well, isn't it? And
in regards to what?
Say it again.
In regards to what?
Well, it's going to be then what, the band, or is it still going to be Ace Rosewall with?
It's definitely going to be the band, but it is my band, you know. So they're along for the ride, and I want their opinions because
right,
they I think the more different opinions you get, we all have different styles, right? So Sam, the pianist, he's very jazzy. I don't even know who she is. She's amazing, but she's got a lot of different genres, you know. And I'm more the folky pop kind of guy. So when you mix all that together, you get a really good result.
You do, yeah.
And then it's never boring, because then Sam will play some, like, I don't know, 7 chords, so like do something special on the piano, which will change it up from if I would have just played the same chords that I always would. But then I also want to make sure that we don't get too far away from me, because it is my music, right? So I think mainly it's me saying, like, let's do it this way. And then they go, okay, cool. And then we try that. And then they add like this and that and this and that. And then we kind of form what is a great result in the end. Yeah.
Is that process quite a long one?
Changes. Usually it's pretty straightforward, because I don't write the hardest songs.
Right.
There's like a joke that pop musicians say to jazz musicians, that you'd rather play 4 chords to 1,000 people than 1,000 chords to 4 people.
Right.
Because the jazz, they always playing like, yeah, and I'm never gonna be that good. Anyway, so it's pretty simple songs to play. So that's that way. It's pretty, yeah. And then I focus more on the performance, like telling them that, okay, so here I'm gonna get everybody to sing along or to clap, or
okay. So that is almost integrated straight away then.
Yeah. I mean, I always just say things that are not planned and mess it up for them that way, but I think it's important to interact with the audience.
I think it is.
Because if you just have like an hour of a guy just standing with his guitar playing, then that's going to be boring.
Yeah.
But if he's having you sing along or like clap along, that's what you remember from a gig.
Certainly.
We had one gig. We played at Cargo. The quiet. It's like a.
What is it?
That's in Shoreditch.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty big
I know, it's
venue.
a pretty big venue, yeah. It's
I was
a
pretty
massive
stoked
venue,
about that. So, but then it was maybe in January, February. It was snowing a lot. And then while we're playing, everything just gets dark. Like there's a video on YouTube about it. Everything just shuts down during like one of my most romantic songs. And then Sam goes, oh shit, I think we went over time, you know, because sometimes at these venues, they're very strict about how long you can play. And then that's just because the weather just shut the whole street down. Like there was a blackout.
And what
so
did you
then
do?
we just like throw away the electric guitar, jumped in the acoustic, and just jumped down in the middle of the crowd. And then just started playing it acoustically.
Oh my.
And everybody had their flashes up. And Ellie was like drumming along a little bit. And Sam was up there singing along, clapping. That's like one of the best moments I've had.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And that just made me realize that we are really good, because the way we handled it, instead of just going, oh, what are we
I think that is amazing. That was
a lot of fun, man.
Love it. Because I think that's when you realize that you're not just performing in your head, but you actually are a performer.
Yeah.
I think that
we got it under our skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing that, not necessarily that there's nothing that will scare you, but you're almost like you're enjoying it so much that you don't want to give up on it. And you're like, not having electricity does not mean that I cannot continue.
And that they just jump
playing
with me, right?
Yeah.
I might be the front man jumping down and doing stuff, but they were like, okay, Sam was like, okay, my piano's not working. I'm just going to clap and sing along and like just get people vibing.
Yeah.
You know, that was really cool. That was really, really cool.
Do you spend a lot of time together here, or are they all very busy doing different projects?
We haven't spent a lot of time over the summer because, well, I've been in Copenhagen recording and summer holidays and stuff. Ellie's done a lot of festivals. So I think the last gig we played was probably in May. But then I'm trying to line some more up over the autumn just to get us back together.
Would you like to play on festivals?
I'd love to, yeah.
Yeah. I think you're the kind of music genre that will go very well.
Yeah. I've played a couple, but I'm really hoping that with this new release, we can get into a few more. There's a festival in my hometown, like a pretty big one. They've had like big names. And I've gone to that ever since I was a kid. And then last year I was like, before anything really happened, I just sent them a message. I write, you have no idea how much time you spend. Oh, but just in general, you spend so much time doing so many things that are not what you want to do.
Well, like reaching out to
writing
people.
emails,
promoting your stuff.
All that stuff.
Get your services to the people.
I'm always saying, like, being a musician or being a photographer or actor, all that stuff, you educate yourself in so many different things. I mean, sometimes I have to go like, no, let's push this away and actually do music.
Yeah.
Because I'll have days just doing anything but music, which is so weird. Anyway, so I was writing an email to the guy in charge of the music in my hometown. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hi, boom, I just released Fooling Around, Danish artist, London-based. I thought that sounded pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then he went, thank you very much for your email. I think we'll wait till your fan base is asking for you. And that was just like funny, but also heartbreaking, you know? So but I was like, okay, don't worry. I'll get my revenge. I'll come back. You guys know.
I think we all have those kind of moments.
Yeah.
We have a lot of emails sent out and no response whatsoever.
Wow.
And then we have some emails with some very snarky, not necessarily snarky, sometimes just the comments flying your way and you kind of go like, whoa, I don't even know what's worse, having no response to this response.
But even in London, people are
absolutely
worse, way worse.
Yeah, because you can stumble across someone who is very, very wild and they will probably tell you exactly what they think about you in a very naked truth, something that nobody in a very long time has said to you.
Which is not necessarily bad.
Which is not necessarily bad, and I think
sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. It depends on time of the day and I guess your state of mind that email got to you. Because sometimes you're just like, yeah, whatever, and sometimes it just gets into you and you just have to deal with that. And I think that is the biggest thing for me as a creative is being patient and understanding that just because I send an inquiry or I'm interested in that project does not necessarily mean that the guys on the other side are feeling exactly the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not entitled to get a response. I'm not entitled to even get anything just because I sent that inquiry in, you see?
Yeah,
and I think once that kind of hits your head, it's a little bit easier. Because at the beginning, it was quite tough. I was like, but I'm doing photography. You should love me. You should hire me. You should just open all the doors and be ready for me. And obviously, a couple of years down the line, you do realize there's a lot of fish in the sea. You're not the special cookie and you just need to keep doing what you're doing. And eventually something somewhere will open the
and
doors.
clients talk to other clients, right? And then
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's very funny how sometimes things that you don't even think will get you anywhere, they are usually the things that people will refer to and be like, oh, I found you for this. And you're like, really? Because I usually, I like asking people, how did you find me? What was the process of you getting to me?
Because if you know that everybody's finding you through this one thing, that's what you should promote or, whatever.
Yeah,
so you should ask,
ideally, theoretically, this is the case. But people are being people, and more often than not, they wouldn't even remember. They will just say something about, I just saw you somewhere. And you're like, okay, cool. Thanks for seeing me somewhere, I guess. Yeah. Oh, wow. That is awesome.
It doesn't matter, man. If they get in touch with you, then that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the performance a little bit more. Do you have anyone you look up to see how they are getting the crowd going? Do you watch a lot of people performing to kind of see, maybe get some tips or just to see if you like this kind of performance style?
I do. I mean, I'm not the biggest concert goer, but I go to quite a few, I think. I went back to Denmark to see Ed Sheeran a while back. And that was amazing because he had James Bay warm up. Awesome. Yeah. Love that guy. Yeah, he was actually really good. And Ed I probably look up to him in regards to what he's doing with the audience because he was always getting people along. And he's alone on stage in front of like 45,000 people, just having everybody clap along, sing along. Yeah. That was really impressive. So definitely him and Coldplay.
Yeah.
I like.
Oh God. These guys are just...
It's a bit different music, but they are just... And the energy.
The energy, yeah. I think it's not necessarily... Yeah, you're just an observer. I'm not a musician. I cannot play any instruments. I cannot sing at all. Right. That was what my teacher said to me when I was in grade 5. She was like, no, darling. I was like, okay, fine.
But that's what you need. Yeah. I always make sure to play my music to people who don't know music. the same way as musicians do,
Yeah.
because they are the people in the end who's going to listen to it, right?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
go to the gigs.
Because we're going to be the observers, but we're getting pure joy out of it.
Yeah.
And I think Coldplay is that my favorite genre of music? No, but they always get a crowd going. The tunes are just
They're-
like, even if
yeah.
in the pub you will listen to the tunes and you'll be like, I've heard it a million
Yeah,
times.
you know
Yet
the
again, it's
lyrics
still
without
amazing.
ever actually reading
Yeah,
the lyrics. You
but
just
then-
know them by heart.
Yeah, but I've never been to their concerts actually, and I think this is one of those ones which I should have actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mate loves them. She's been to every single concert. Like every
Yeah.
single time they'll have something new out, she'll be
Wow.
like, "I'm there," and I was like, "Oh, really? You've seen them 10 times already?" But now, like, yeah, well, yeah, because growing up, I loved Muse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, love them. Like that guitar and the Mafia there, I was just, and I saw them live 3 times, which is funny. Saying someone who goes to Coldplay concerts 10 times, and I'm just judging them there. But their performance always been something out of this world. They just, I think it's a mastery in its own.
It does a lot.
Yeah.
Because I've been to gigs where I've been like, if it's just people just standing around, you can just watch them at home or see them like hear them on the radio. If there's nothing, you go to see a show, right? Not necessarily to listen to the music.
But do you think it's because they're nervous? It's something that,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like they're forced.
yeah,
They're not being forced because they make a lot of money from it. I think they need to. I
Okay.
think some people are better off just releasing music and then
Not
living
being
off
on
of.
it.
Yeah, because I think you should enjoy it, and I think that you should give people something, because people are paying a lot of money to
I was
go
about
see
to
you
say,
play.
yeah, I think,
I think hasn't it jumped up recently? Like I've bought tickets for a few gigs recently, and it's like 70 quid.
they're expensive.
That's a lot.
There is a lot of money. I remember I paid for Beyonce 5 years ago, 70, and that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now the tickets are going to £200, and I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, I had some friends going to the Drake concert.
Yeah.
And he was playing a whole week.
Yeah,
Like a whole week, sold out.
yeah.
That's a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. If people have made money, it is your responsibility to show up
Yeah.
and give that energy out,
I think
because
so.
that's what people are here for,
Right.
isn't it? So it's just, there is no excuse, I guess. No
No.
matter how
If-
nervous
yeah.
you are, then
And I
you-
guess that they're sometimes like being pushed by the labels and the people behind them. But I mean, I don't know that. I just know that having seen that, I know that I don't want to be that way.
Right.
That I want to, if it's too much, then I won't do it. But I don't think it's going to be.
But do you ever get nervous when you get on a stage? And if you do, never.
I don't really know.
How do you psych yourself up then?
I don't know. It's just natural to me.
Really?
Yeah, I just enjoy it. I just like it. I sometimes get frustrated up there if I realize that I'm just playing
To know
to an
it.
empty room, and I'm like, okay, but I'll just still play the gig, and then to that maybe one person who's there, you gotta give them as much as if it's 1,000 people, you know?
That's true. Do you always have that in your head?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you never know. That's also the thing here in London. You never know who's there. This one person might be the A&R from Sony, or you never know. So you gotta just always give it your all.
Yeah.
And also, even maybe if it's not a label person, it might be another fan,
Yeah.
and that way you need to win them over. I had a guy once. I was playing an open mic in Camden, and then a few weeks later, I was playing a gig at a pub later up the road, but like a showcase. So I was playing for maybe 30 minutes. And while I was in the bar, this guy came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, great set," or something like that. And I was like, "Thanks, man." And he'd seen me at the open mic, and then not even with his friends or anything. He'd just gone by himself, driven for like an hour to go see me play in that pub.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I mean. You never know, and I didn't remember this guy really, so it was just incredible. So that's what I mean. Like you never know who's there. That's why you just gotta give it your all the time.
I admire that.
Especially now, when there's no one, because that's not right though. Because I've heard that you gotta fight for it hard now, but then when you have it, you gotta fight even harder. It's just, you gotta enjoy the ride. these gigs, you're gonna look back on these gigs when you're playing to 1,000 people, I think.
Yeah, I think at the moment now, what's good for you is when you have a smaller following and a smaller fan base, it leaves you to do almost anything you want to. Whereas if you're going to be known to masses, almost like they will be demanding of what they expect from you. Yeah. And you almost, well, I mean, it's up to you as an artist, I guess, but you are then put in this position of a spotlight that every single thing that you do will be then almost put under the microscope and being like discussed and peeled off
if you do
and go into the things. Whereas now it's almost like, if I've decided to go this way, this is my decision, and I don't have a fan base to explain to in a way.
Right.
So I think that is always a good thing. Well, I've listened to quite a few podcasts with musicians who are big now in UK. Like the guy, don't remember his name, but he's the one who's singing "Take Me to the Church." Take Me to Church. Hosier, yes. And it's exactly the same thing with him. He said that being on the spotlight now, it's a little bit more difficult because everyone is just watching every single step you're doing, and the crowd is expecting certain things from you. Whereas when you just do smaller gigs, you just rock up and you almost, it's that time for yourself when you play and give that and music out.
Yeah, and like for example, the Coldplay gig, which is amazing. They are just playing hits. Yeah, they can't not play hits because they have so many hits that they can't even fit all of them in one show. Correct. Which is incredible. Yeah. But then the set list is almost made for them. Whereas now I can go like, I'm gonna play 5 songs I've never played before.
And just watch the crowd go completely nuts.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just
because crowd will always demand the top hits.
Yeah, exactly.
They're always there. Yeah.
So I mean, even now I have a few people singing along. So then I know certain songs I need to play because they're gonna, expect that.
When you write your music, do you think, is that a hit potential of a hit? Do you need to think that way?
I don't know if maybe I need to. I don't, but maybe I should.
No.
I really just write songs. I write whatever I feel, but I know I can feel what songs are like big. When I released my first EP back in 2016, there's a song called Promise, which is one of the songs I'm most proud to have written. I think it's really lyrically and songwriting is really good. Like the would you say like the technical part of it? It's really and I've been told so by pretty successful songwriters. So I'm really proud of that song, and I felt like that was the main song of the EP. And then now it's still the song that has the most streams on Spotify and everything. So,
but why do you think so? Is it because some sort of certain emotion was
I think
put into it?
When I'm really emotional myself, that's when I write the best. The more I feel, the more I can put into the song, and the more my feeling is in the song, the more it's gonna make people feel the same way.
Absolutely. So how do you get to that feeling though?
Have you ever, for example, this song was when I broke up. No, I didn't break up. No, that's another song. This song I was in love with a girl, and she was with another guy, and she had to break up with him to be with me, but I wasn't really sure if she was gonna do it. And then it was just like a limbo where I was just sitting in my bed waiting to see what was gonna happen. And I was out of my mind. So I was just weeping with my guitar, like trying to, and then I just came up with that. And I know that's why people can relate to it, because
it's a real emotion.
It's really close to my heart. Yeah, it's really, so
that's fascinating. Yeah. I think it's, because so many people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily in a way that that's exactly the same situation they had in their life, but mostly like if you love someone and they're out there and you're quite not sure if they're coming to you, it's almost like that feeling of not able to have it. It's like you can't always have what you want. Yeah. So it's one of those ones, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But then there's also songs like Fooling Around, which is not a very deep song. It's just like a chill. But people can relate to that too. Like that's the song you want to put out if you just like sitting on your terrace having a beer,
Yeah. But which sort of songs do you like to write?
I like both of them. They're very. I don't know. It's not. I rarely write anything just to write it. It's just whatever comes. Sometimes I can get frustrated if I can't write something like. If I want to write sometimes I feel like when I look at my set list, I go, I need a song which is a bit more upbeat. But then if I can't really come up with anything that I'm happy about, then that'll frustrate me. But I just like, yeah, it's just nice to have some kind of way to get out not away from, but just get my feelings out,
Yeah.
and to get it to contemplate and just to deal with it in that way.
But is it the guitar playing? Is it the songwriting, or is it performing? Which one is letting you get your feelings more out?
I don't know. I think it's a mix, because you need the guitar to set the mood,
Right.
but you need the lyrics to explain
The mood.
and you need the voice to bind it all together, you
Right.
know. So
But my example would be in a way. So I used to dance for 10 years. I've been put in a dancing school since I was 5. And till this moment, yes, I'm not taking any dance classes and I'm not a performer. But what I do every now and I feel like that urge of getting something out of you is when you're coming home and you just put a headphones on and we have a mirror upstairs and I just dance.
yeah.
I just dance. For me, this is one of the ways to get some sort of negative emotions out.
Yeah.
Because that's what I remember doing. Not because, well, I mean, yeah, I still like doing this, but this is, I don't know, natural behavior. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where I don't have to think. I'm not a writer. That's why I'm always fascinated by the people who can't put words on a paper. My words on a paper sound like, whoa,
Yeah.
stay away from it, girl. So
That's a good way to deal with it. I mean, we all have different things.
yeah, so dancing was always for me to express myself. And I remember when I was growing up, of course we went through all this arc of going ballet, then it was like a bit of everything dance, then you dance anything from being a cowboy girl
Just everything from ballet to...
we had a base as a ballet.
Wow.
But then a teacher's, you're a kid, you do a ballet 3 times a week.
Yeah.
But this is not where you perform. You have your showcase every half a year. And that would be usually like you put in the cowboy costumes and you'll be dancing something with a cowboy tune on the back. It's just those kind of dances. And then we moved to Tallinn and I was all into jazz and hip hop and house. And I still like this kind of music the most. But I remember there was some choreographers back in America and LA, because obviously I had that dream in my head as well. I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to be a dancer and this is what's going to happen. And there were those very deep philosophical moves within very emotional music. And in my head, I could always see myself doing those emotions on the floor with that tune on.
Yeah.
And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, woman, you're so far away from that. That's not even funny. So eventually I kind of, that dream being pushed to the sides. And now I'm just like, I'll put a hip hop tune on and I'll just dance to that one, because the feeling is just to get, shake it off in a way,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift style.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I know. So it's funny how people are dealing with their emotions, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's very important to get them out. And if music is something that helps you to do that, then that's amazing. But I really love your voice, and I'm just thinking, how can somebody be so talented and be a songwriter, be a singer, and also play guitar? Oh yeah, it's just crazy. It really is crazy. Well, bloody done.
Thank you.
But you love doing this, don't you?
Yeah.
Is that in your head 24/7?
Yeah, I have nothing else I want to do. Like when we were in school and we had to decide what we wanted to do for university, I just told the teacher straight away, like, I'm going to move to London, I'm going to be a rock star.
Was your teacher quite alright? She was like, oh, another one with the band.
I mean, they've realized that there was not really anything they could do about it. So
Oh,
they're
really?
like, okay. So I
Right.
spent so much time just doing nothing when everybody else was like researching what they needed to do. And because, and I think education is good for some people, but I don't think that I need it. I think my education is playing live, learning to write songs, spending time with other musicians, because I don't need to be able to read music the same way as, like, I have a mate who's a classical pianist. I don't need to be as technically gifted as him. I don't need to know how to read music like he does. He needs to do that because that's what you do when you play classical piano.
Right.
But for me, writing pop songs, you need to know the basics of guitar, and you need to have something on your heart that you want to get out with, and then just have the drive of the performance.
But if you don't have something that you want to get out of, where do you go?
Just a writer's block, We all deal with that. Sometimes there's just nothing really,
But what then inspires you? Or what's the sort of sources you go to get at sort of hopeful inspiration?
I haven't figured out the recipe yet. Like it's really, you have no idea how frustrating it is. Because when you can't, it sounds weird, but when you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So usually I just try to write songs anyway.
Yeah.
And just write bad songs just to get them out of the way.
Right.
So I'll go like write lyrics down and just finish a song off, put it away, and then write something else. And then there you go. And then there's a nice song again, Right, so okay. I think that's, just maybe, I don't know if you just like have bad...
To kiss many frogs in order to find your prince.
Just like, you have just some bad songs in your system that you need to get out.
But did you get to that level straight away? Or was it quite frustrating to understand that this is what basically the process of writing songs is?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think...
Because you don't know that's the process, isn't it?
In the beginning, I thought everything I wrote was pretty cool, And I didn't write that many songs. Like the first maybe 5 years that I was playing, I wrote maybe 4 songs.
Right.
And then that's pretty much it. And then over the last year, I've written like too many. So I think it just came natural when I moved here. And because I know that when you decide that this is what you want to do, then you need to do it. And it doesn't matter how good you are, what you do, if you don't have a good song, and you need to get the good songs out there. So I think that's just when I started writing a lot, and just that's why I think it's important to record as well. Right.
You did go to America last year, didn't you? Was it last year?
Yeah.
Did it have quite a big impact on your songwriting after?
It was amazing. I did like a little tour over there. So I played a few gigs in Miami, a few up in New Orleans. And New Orleans was amazing because
it is the scene, isn't it?
Yeah, and just it's funny though because in Denmark especially, you just drink on the street. That's a normal thing. But Americans seem to think that because in New Orleans you're allowed to drink on the street, and Americans are crazy about that. They think that's so cool and funny, And it's always like you go to New Orleans to have a good night out. But I was amazed by the musicianship of all these artists. Like no matter where you are, there's like blues or jazz artists, and they're like the best in the world. Even I was told by someone there that the artists in the street, like playing just on the street, they will be in clubs anywhere else in the world. But because of New Orleans and the level is that high, they are on the street. But they're still making loads of money, I mean, relatively, from just playing on the street. I think that was what impacted me the most, just hearing all that really amazing music and then having my guitar there. It was amazing. I love that, because you get different, you see different things, you get different experiences that impact you. And then being able to grab the guitar and play whatever you feel.
Was there a lot of that kind of time where you went, leave me alone for like 2 hours, so you will wake up earlier than anyone else and just play and kind of try to absorb all what you just experienced and try to maybe not necessarily replicate that, but just maybe get through you via just playing the guitar? I don't know, is that something you do?
I think I'd just like we'd be in the living room or of our Airbnb, and I'd just like go to the room and just start playing something, just to get, something out there. And just I think and sometimes it just hits you like that, you have like an idea and then you got to run off and try to figure out what that idea is. So I have so many voice memos on my phone as well from like singing in a bathroom, just going la 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 and something like that, just trying to
get it out.
But it was amazing. It's really cool.
Would you like to come back?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think New Orleans is one of my favorite places, cities I've been. It was it's just a good time, and people were happy. There's something about that Southern hospitality that people are talking about. It's actually real. Like, people were so friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it's a myth. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, not a myth. You obviously watch, Netflix, and you can see that a lot of
I
people
thought
are
so
going
too.
there. And I think like maybe it's a bit too tacky, or maybe it's just a bit too.
I mean, we might have been lucky with who we ran into.
No,
I think in general, people were really nice.
But vibe matters. Vibe matters the most, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Vibe matters.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
much.
Yeah, of course. And I think there's also, I mean, they're dealing with their problems down there, but that's another podcast. Yeah. I'm going to New York later this year.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking about maybe bringing my guitar, maybe seeing if I can go and play a gig at a club somewhere over there.
That'll be interesting, isn't it?
Just for fun,
Of course, why not?
Yeah.
Wow. You're fearless, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just going out there.
Gotta get out there,
Just gotta get out there.
Yeah.
So what's the goal?
The goal is you keep setting new goals, but like I wanna break through internationally. And that's very vague. I know that, but I want to say like to play Madison Square Garden to sell that out. But then am I just gonna go home and sit on my bed for the rest of my life when that's done? So I think you always need to set new goals for yourself.
Yeah.
And also have like an ultimate goal, which is further than even Madison Square Garden, but also still have like foreseeable goals that you can achieve within the near future. Because if you sometimes you'll just like be in the dark if you just go for something because there's no direct road to that point.
Yeah.
So you need to set small stops along the way that you can get to.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mario Brothers or something like that, like you have different levels and then at some point you get to a boss, You get to fight Donkey Kong. Yeah, I don't know. I just came up with that. I thought like, yeah, that's pretty. You get it though, right?
No, of course I did get it.
You must feel the same way.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm gonna play that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, is that
I'll make my own cover.
Really for the Mario. And this song is going to my childhood memory.
Straight from my heart.
Straight from your heart.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I wanted to say something else. Something that I sometimes struggle, but again, I don't know if you get to that level, and hear me out, is sometimes you have a project that you work on and you might necessarily not have a full kind of control over it. And there are some certain people who are coming and telling you should be doing this and this and this and this and that. And if you're not vibing with the people, but you're still trying to be professional and you still need to get the job done, how do you deal with that?
I think it's important always to be polite and nice, no matter how weird or just not nice people are. But I feel like every door you knock on and there's no reply, that's one door closer to the right one. So even if you deal with shitty people, then once when you're over that obstacle, then that's just one step closer to, because at some point, hopefully you'll get to a point where you don't need people, right? When you're doing it, from you guys' perspective, right? You don't need to do clients that you don't necessarily like doing, but you can kind of choose yourself, So hopefully,
well, get to the position where you can choose, not like you have to pick up every single person.
Because then when the financial perspective is not the main thing, which it becomes to a lot of like creatives, because you need to survive,
Yeah.
So what I mean is like, I think you just have to deal with it. I mean, don't take too much.
No, yeah, of course.
But you have to just overcome that to get to a point where eventually you'll be able to kind of pick and choose more. Right.
Yeah.
So that's like if I'm dealing with a venue manager who's being a dick, or if I show up somewhere and there's just no amps or there's no whatever, then you just have to stick to yourself and just go through it and be like, okay, just get this done. Tomorrow's a new day. Give me a week and I won't remember this anymore,
Yeah. But how do you overcome those kind of bad feelings and emotions? Because obviously as a creative, you tend to absorb this a little bit more than probably a normal person would.
I just think if I'm playing this gig, I'll be like, okay, but there might be someone out there, even though the venue manager's a dick, there might be someone out there who's seeing me who likes it. Or, you know, if I'm not doing this gig, there's someone behind me who might be willing to, and then
overlook this and do still the job,
and then
isn't it?
They'll gain what I could have gained from this, you know. And for you guys, if you're just releasing this ad or whatever, then that might lead to some other job. Like, you never know, right? It's a jungle, man. You never know what are the right things to do and what are not the right things to do.
That's true, yeah. And I think that's the path of the creativity, isn't it? You will never be given a direct path to a certain level of success. You just need to try different things and see what's gonna work.
Really, you also should respect yourself.
Yeah.
And not because some people will also just push you around just because they can, and they might be in a position where they feel like they are able to do that.
Entitled, yeah.
Yeah, entitlement, yeah. So it's a hard line trying to decide.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think what I like it's just personally, I think like that process for 2 years since we started and where we are now. No, it's been a bit longer, but I feel like a lot of things that I used to be so very scared of, they no longer scare me. But obviously there will be always a next level of fear coming your way, and you have to deal with that. And I think like your way of looking at it is when you say one bad door is just it's just a closer step to the good door, and I like that way of looking at it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of awesome.
Also with the emails, you got to just write to a lot of people, and then for every email you don't get a reply from, that's just one email closer to the next job, or, you know. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, when is your album then coming out, or the song, the release?
The EP is not decided yet.
Yeah, that's
it's going to be later this year, but the single is out 6th of September.
Right.
It's going to be available everywhere. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, this is the first time I'm telling people about it. So you got like breaking news on your podcast, man.
That's great. Yeah, love it. Are you going to be doing some sort of performances around it as well in London?
I don't think so. I think for this we're just gonna keep it down low. I think with the EP I'm gonna do something, but with the single we're just gonna smooth it into the radio and see
what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, freaking all the best.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you. I think it's going to be amazing. Yeah. I love listening to your tunes. They are amazing when I'm editing the pictures. It's just like has this very nice mood, you know, they set you in a mood, and you just sit there and edit your pictures and sing along every now and again.
Thank you for that.
So thank you very much for coming in and sharing your story.
It's a pleasure.
See you around, babes.
See you, babes.
Thanks. Bye. We're done.
All right. Nice guy.
What a chat. Thank you, Ace Rosewall, for sharing your story with me. I loved learning more about your music. You can find him on Instagram at Ace Rosewall. Also, he's releasing his new EP on the 6th of September, so keep your eyes open. Everybody, thank you for listening. I have some amazing guests lined up, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, you can check my Instagram at TopTwith for the daily behind the scenes. Thanks. Bye.